everyone, welcome back to Open Heart with Noor. I'm Noor, your host, and I'm really excited to be here today. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been on this journey with me for a while, I want to say a huge thank you. This podcast and the support it's getting from friends and family is something that truly matters, and helps me create a space for you, with open and honest conversations about personal growth and mental health and just healing in general. So, thank you again. And before we dive into today's topic, I want to remind you that you can submit your stories or your thoughts and questions anonymously, of course, via email. The link will be in my Instagram account, Open Heart with Noor, because your experience matters and I would love to incorporate your perspective into our discussions. So, if you have anything to send, please just make sure to do so, and can't wait to hear from you guys. Today, we're talking about something simple, but also very powerful, and something that has changed my life completely. I'm sure once you hear me say what it is, people might just sigh a bit, but it's true. And that is journaling. You might hear people say, just write it down, it's gonna help. But in reality, why does it actually help? How does putting your thoughts on a piece of paper actually support your emotional regulation and just your self-discovery? And what does this have to do with your nervous system? Personally, for me, writing anything down on a piece of paper helps me kind of make any problem that I have magnified in my head just a little bit smaller. Makes me feel like I can deal with it much easier, because looking at the problem or the feelings or anything in front of my face being written, it feels like it could be easily handled more than when it's in my head and I'm making the issue much bigger or highlighting these specific feelings that in paper everything looks the same. It makes you look at your feelings or your problems in a different way. So that's how I see journaling being an impact in my life, and how I deal with journaling, or why I started journaling. So journaling isn't just about venting, yeah? It's a scientifically backed tool to kind of engage both your logical and emotional brain. So obviously, as I said with my example, it reduces stress, improves your mental clarity, and of course helps you develop self-awareness. So let's try to break everything down, and hopefully you can also start to journal. It could either be written or drawn. You can kind of find your way and how you would like to use your own journal. Eventually you will, and when you do, it's going to be so addicting. You won't be able to kind of find mental clarity other than this way. So let's talk about why this happens. Why journaling isn't just a feel-good practice, but has a deeper psychological and neurological reasoning. So when you write, you kind of activate your left and your right hemisphere of your brain. So some people might know this, some people might not, but the left side of the brain is more logical. It's responsible for structure, organizing your thoughts, just very, like, I like to think of my left side of the brain to be a lawyer. Lawyers are very, well, let's not generalize, but in my head, my left side of the brain, my lawyer, is very organized, likes everything set in a specific tone, and you can't really just change her mind in anything. Khalas, whatever she says is what happens. On the other side, the right side, you find what handles emotions and intuition and how to process feelings. Yeah? I see that as, let's say, Winnie the Pooh. That's very random, and I actually just thought of this right now. It's not something I've never actually set a character for my right side, for my left, for my right side. Yeah, I've always set one for my left, but never for my right. But I just came up with one right now, which is Winnie the Pooh. I like Winnie the Pooh. I think is a good representation of that emotional side. But yeah, we're getting off track. So this integration between the right and the left side allows your brain to kind of make sense of any complex emotions, rather than just reacting to them. So on the nervous system level, journaling activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of the body that promotes relaxation, anything that reduces stress. And when you're overwhelmed, your body goes into fight or flight mode, or releasing cortisol or just the stress hormone. But writing things down has been shown to lower these cortisol levels and help you actually feel calmer and more in control, because of the power you get by holding a pencil and just physically writing these things out in front of you. Having them held between your hands makes it easier for you to think that you have it more control over them than when they're in your head and they're just flying and you don't know how to catch them. Like the cloud. Who the hell knows what the iCloud is? Like, took us a while, but to this day, honestly, I could never understand the iCloud. It doesn't make sense to me. That's how I see it. I don't know if anyone's gonna understand that, but that, I don't know. That's how I see it. So, okay, so think about it. When your mind is cluttered, okay, it's like having 100 open browsers on your laptop. And if you're like me, I hate that. I need to always close anything I'm not using, anything that doesn't make any sense. I just need to have one browser open with things that I genuinely know that I need. Other than that, it is going to be closed. So if you're like me, imagine your mind is cluttered, as I said, and you have 100 browsers open. Journaling helps you close some of these things. So allowing your brain to focus and to process one thing at a time helps you remove what is unnecessary. This is not really going the way I want, but it's okay. People have bad days, and I think this is one of them. But it's okay, I have my chamomile tea with me. And let's just get this podcast to the end. Okay, let's see where this goes. So how does all of this really affect you? I think journaling affects your emotions and your behaviors and just your daily life in general by, firstly, the way it fosters self-awareness. So many of us go through this day-to-day reacting to emotions without really understanding where they actually came from. And by taking a few moments to write, you can actually pause and ask yourself, how did I feel today? What did I feel today? This simple habit helps you recognize patterns in your emotions and identify any triggers that you have. Journaling helps regulate your emotions. When you put your feelings into words, it kind of creates a psychological distance, allowing you to kind of observe them objectively instead of being overwhelmed by them in your head. This is especially helpful for managing anxiety and sadness and obviously frustration. With all of this, it does improve your mental clarity, which we said before. If you've ever felt stuck and you felt like you've been in a spiral of overthinking, writing can help you untangle these thoughts, and instead of keeping them bottled in your mind, putting them on a paper gives you more perspective. So, journaling does really support a compassionate inner dialogue that you have. Many of us are much harsher on ourselves than we would ever be to our friend. So, through journaling, you can start shifting from self criticism to self compassion by, as we said, asking, how can I be kinder to myself tomorrow? Imagine your inner self as your best friend. Not as you, but as your best friend. How would you deal with your best friend? What would you tell your best friend? And you can realize the difference between what you would tell yourself and how you would speak to your best friend. And that kindness and warmth that comes with speaking to your best friend or to a loved one needs to be the same when it comes to yourself, because your inner peace is the most important out of anyone's. And if you're not kind to yourself, how do you really expect anyone to be kind to you? Genuinely. I'm not saying this out of cheesiness. I'm saying this because it's very important to kind of look back at, especially when you're growing. People need to appreciate themselves more. Thanking yourself, even if you're frustrated, you're angry, you're sad, just taking the time to thank your brain, to thank your heart, to thank your organs, to thank yourself for anything. You have a brain that functions, a brain that helps you be frustrated, feel like you can have these feelings. You can feel frustrated, you can feel sad, you can feel anger. You have the blessing to feel these things and to fully commit to these feelings and actually go through every tiny emotion. Not many people can. So thank yourself that you are able to experience these things, that you have a beating heart to experience this life, that you have healthy lungs to breathe air. Journaling does really help you feel more gratitude and appreciation to the life you have. In your mind, you can't really see all of these beautiful things because it's so easy for you to go into a dark hole that would look incredibly impossible for you to take yourself out of, because you're in your iCloud brain. And in your iCloud brain, you don't know how to reach that, because who the hell knows how to reach iCloud? Let's not go back into that, but writing it down, you are able to reach for these things. Look at them, analyze them, read them. That's important. We kind of went out of topic and I kind of went more into motivating you guys. So let's go back to how to overcome these things. So, first, we can all say that now we understand why journaling is effective, and now let's kind of make it a more sustainable habit. We don't have to start big, we can always start small, very simple. You don't need to write pages and pages every single day. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. Just try one sentence, literally just one sentence, where you just write down your key emotions or your major thoughts of that day, and that's it. Just close the book. So let's say you can use prompts to kind of help you. So, what's one thing I learned about myself today? Write that down. Or how did my body feel today? And what might that be telling me? Another one could be, what's something I appreciate about myself right now? How does that make me feel? Very small things. Then, don't judge what you write. Your journal is only for your eyes. No one else has the right to read your journal or look at it. The only person your journal is for is you. So there's no right or wrong way, to do this process, and do whatever feels right for you. So write freely without worrying about grammar or if it even makes sense. Just write what feels right. Another one is a stream of consciousness writing, so just letting words flow without literally filtering anything. Another one is gratitude journaling. I love doing this. Just list anything you're grateful for. Helps you reanalyze things, trust me. Emotional check-ins, so just saying, writing your emotions and reflecting on them, Once you do these small, simple things, trust me, they're so simple, it will slowly become a ritual. So, link journaling to something you already do in your daily day. For example, when I have my morning coffee, I journal. When I want to go to sleep, I journal. When I come back from a run, I journal. When I come back from work, I journal. Just find something to relate journaling to. This kind of helps you turn it into a habit rather than a task. And once it actually becomes a habit, you will realize you start using it more within your day and not just that specific time you set for yourself. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, is that journaling isn't about writing perfectly. It's about giving yourself a space to feel free, feel the emotions, feel the process, and grow from it. It's a conversation with yourself. It's a tool for self-discovery and a way to nurture your emotional well-being. If you've never journaled before, I challenge you to start tonight. Write at least one sentence. That's all I'm asking. And if you're already journaling, I'd love to hear how it's helped you. And remember, you can send any of your beautiful stories or questions anonymously through the email on my Instagram account, Open Heart with Noor. And thank you for spending the time with me today. I've enjoyed today's episode. Gave me time to reflect, actually. And don't forget to share it with someone who might benefit from journaling. And see you next time. Take care of yourself and keep your heart open and journal. Bye.